This is Redbreast 12-year-old and this is Redbreast 12-year-old Cask Strength. They are both made in the same distillery, they are both aged in the same casks, and they are both the same age. So why does one of them cost more? Why does one of them kick a wee bit stronger? And why do they both taste different to one another? Let's find out. Welcome to the Redbreast Diaries, where I am looking at everything around the iconic Irish whiskey brand Redbreast. Every bottle I get hold of, I taste it, talk about it, maybe I talk about the brand as well. And today we are looking at a comparison between Redbreast 12-year-old, the iconic, the OG, the quintessential Irish whiskey, some people call it, and Redbreast 12-year-old Cask Strength, and whether one of them or both of them deserve a space on your shelf, or maybe the Cask Strength is actually worth that wee bit more money. So, only one way to find it out. Let's put them head to head and see who comes out on top. Now look at that. They actually are the exact same colour as well. So there is very little, if anything, between these two whiskies. So let's break this one down simply. These are both single pot still Irish whiskies. Single just means one distillery. That distillery being the Midleton Distillery down in County Cork has made both of these. And then pot still means that they are made from at least 30% malted barley and at least 30% unmalted barley. These two are also triple distilled in giant copper pot stills, and then they are aged for a minimum of 12 years in ex-bourbon and then sherry butts. Now where things are starting to differ is the Redbreast 12 is 40% ABV or 80 proof, which is the minimum bottling requirement to be an Irish whiskey. And then the Redbreast Cask Strength, now this is batch 2, B2 2019. This is coming in at 55.8% ABV or 111.6 proof. That may seem like a small difference, but in fact it is massive. Or maybe it's not. Let's find out. So kicking off with Redbreast 12, the OG. Oh yes, right. If you have smelt this whiskey, maybe you even have a glass of it with you now. It just is beautiful. Really does come across in a beautiful, balanced way. I have done many videos on Redbreast 12 and I talk about how it's an approachable whiskey. It's for somebody who wants to get into whiskey a little bit more, because the aroma allows you to pull out that like vanilla from the bourbon, because you can smell it. It smells like vanilla. And it also allows you to pull out those nutty sort of sherry notes that come from the sherry butt. They typically maybe come out in like dried fruits and nuts. And again, you start to smell that on the nose. So it's just beautiful, incredibly well balanced on the aroma as well. So in terms of approachability, like, it's got it there and it just smells so good. Now, Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. Ooh, I maybe jumped into that one a wee bit too soon. I tell you, big notes of that Madagascar vanilla is just coming off there straight. Oh, yes. Now, I have spoken about this one before as well, and I talk about this jammy note. It's big, it's sticky, it's viscous. It's that sherry cask coming through in just a different way. Now the nuts come through on this one, on the Redbreast 12, a lot more when I'm doing the side-by-side comparison, but the complexity of the Cask Strength is really playing ball. Now I must admit, the aroma on the Cask Strength, going back and forth, can start to overpower the original, alright? Like now I'm starting to actually struggle to pull out more aromas from Redbreast 12 just because the Cask Strength is so powerful. Now, when I'm talking about it being powerful, I'm not talking about like that alcohol, ethanol burn. I'm just talking about like all of those flavours, all of those aromas are just dialed up so much. They're so loud, they're so intense that it's very hard for your nose to be able to go back down and still pull out the same finesse, you know? So, ooh, yeah, like it's a powerful, powerful nose in this one. Definitely wouldn't be the same, like entry level sort of aroma as the Redbreast 12. So, let's give Redbreast 12 a sip. Ah, oh, it's so absolutely dreamy. We we just talk about Redbreast with this creamy mouthfeel, all right? And honestly, that it's usually coming from that unmalted barley, right, in the pot still, and that creamy mouthfeel just pulls these flavors all over your mouth, and it just clings to everything. So that vanilla just hits the tip of the tongue in this beautiful sweetness, and that's coming from the bourbon barrel. But then it just expands across the tongue. Some like bacon spices, so we're talking like maybe a wee touch of white pepper there, a wee bit of like nutmeg, very lightly, and then it finishes in the back. At the minute, I'm getting like that kind of like rich raisiny. Christmas cake is kind of what we typically say when talking about Redbreast, because it's that like depth and richness of a sherry. And it's just beautiful. Balanced is key here. Redbreast 12 is just balanced to perfection. Now, how does that actually pair up with Redbreast 12 Cask Strength? Ooh, that nose, boy, that nose. Woo! It is like a flavor bomb just went off in my mouth. Like it's this big sweet cinnamon vanilla clash, just absolutely kicking across the palate. Now, this is like a high ABV, a high proof whiskey. With that comes the intensity of flavour, because alcohol carries flavour, a bit like fat and acid and sugar can carry flavour when cooking. Alcohol can also carry flavour, but too much of any of those things and too much alcohol, and all of a sudden you've got something that's unbalanced and just not very nice. But woo, these flavours just keep going. Like they keep evolving. I actually thought that there was none of that big sherry influence. I thought it was all this big vanilla, this oak. Yeah, obviously there's that wee bit of heat, but it really just comes across quite nicely in it. But then just coming to the end, there's some like sweet fudge note either side of my mouth. But like that nutty note is just starting to build. I've only had one sip, and the flavour is still building in my mouth. Like the Redbreast 12 has like a nice medium finish, but this one definitely has a medium to long finish. It's really just packing so much in. Oh my, like the fruit that is coming out of this now. Like I have said this before about Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. Every time you go back, it evolves in a different way. I'm getting like berries, a wee touch of raspberry, maybe black cherry now coming out of this. It really, really does evolve every time. And then when you go back to Redbreast 12, it is exactly as you remember it. It doesn't necessarily evolve, it is there. It is like constant. You know, it just shows up and it does the same thing every single time, which is not a bad thing. So I suppose the question really is, which one should you buy, or which one should you put in your shelf? If you had to choose one, which one would you choose? And I suppose the answer is it depends. Okay? It really does depend on what you're after and what stage of a whiskey journey you're on. Because Redbreast 12, right? This has set the benchmark. It has for a long time, and it still is the benchmark in single pot still Irish whiskey. It is approachable. It's not your entry level whiskey by any means, but it's the next step. It's the one that unlocks the world of whiskey around it. Like I said earlier, it allows you to kind of bring into these whiskey lexicons of like, oh, is that what like toffee smells like? Or oh, the vanilla comes from the bourbon barrel. I can smell that. I can smell the oak on the nose, and you can go back to it again and again and still pull that oak out of it. You can get the sherry influence really well. Like it's a bloody great whiskey to try to actually understand what sherry influence has in a whiskey. Then when you taste it, it's just great. And balance is the word that I always think about when I talk about Redbreast 12 because it's so well put together. Year on year on year, it is constant and it just is so well balanced. You pretty much always know what you're going to get with a bottle of Redbreast 12. And then on the other side, you've got Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. Now, this is a flavour bomb. This is an explosion of flavour in your mouth and up your nose, to be honest. But where this differs is it's definitely not an entry level whiskey, because if you're new to whiskey, this could actually scare you off Irish whiskey for life, because it's a roaring, revving Harley Davidson type thing. It is just full of flavour. But if you actually can't get past the alcohol, there's no flavour there at all for you to have, right? So essentially, if you're tasting whiskey and you know whiskey, definitely invest in a little bottle of Redbreast Cask Strength for your own pleasure. But if you're new to whiskey, I would say don't go near it, because it may actually just rip your tongue apart, and you may not ever even try this one or go near Irish whiskey again, because it is intense. It's kind of more of like a whiskey nerd. You know, it's like it's got all those things that some of us want in a whiskey. It's that higher ABV, higher flavors. It's more like, you know, straight from the cask, how it should be, blah, blah, blah. That does not mean that it's for everybody, and by no means is it for everybody. It's a bit more expensive as well, so maybe you don't want to spend that bit of money. So if you're new to whiskey and you don't want to spend a big chunk of cash on this whiskey, here, you've got this epic 12-year-old whiskey. Essentially, think of them as like brothers. So this is the approachable, nice one that always turns up at the right time. You always know what you're going to get, and it's bloody great to see them. This one is the other one that you never know what you're going to get. It will change with the weather. Every sip I've had of this evolves. It's exciting. It puts you on edge sometimes. And maybe you don't need that brother to show up to dinner every day. You know what I mean? Or even every once in a while. But they are both epic. Essentially, if you have been buying Redbreast 12 for a while, in your adult years you've bought this every now and again, maybe that's now the time to upgrade to one bottle of Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. If you're new to the world of Irish whiskey, stick with the 12-year-old, the classic OG, and you won't go wrong. And then maybe give this one a go. Maybe buy a glass of it in a bar. See how you feel after that one. And that's it. If you're starting your Redbreast journey, start at the start and build your way through it. You know, that's my 2 cents in the matter. But maybe you disagree. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Maybe, like, I don't know, you find that one is easier to drink than the other, or you dislike one of these and you actually disagree with what I'm saying. Do let me know, because everyone's palate is different. But if you're enjoying this Redbreast series, do give this video a wee like and subscribe if you're not, because the next video I'm going to be putting out in the next week is on Redbreast 15-year-old. Yeah, there's a 15-year-old whiskey from Redbreast. Redbreast? The Cask Strength is really kicking in. There is a 15-year-old whiskey from Redbreast. It's also a single pot still, and I will be tasting that next week. So until then, see you later. Sláinte, cheers, and have a good one. Yeah, I'll go with this one, I think. Cheers, sláinte.